Is there any moment where I know that I interview people as well, and at times they pretend or they try to be in your good books because obviously they have to get this job. Um, is there any moment where you knew that you are asking these questions about money, about mindset, about habits, and about savings and all that, and you know that the other person is trying to deceive you and he is lying maybe, or he is just not being genuine? How do you end that interview, or how do you make sure that this person, if he goes to the next interview, at least he has the context that he does not need to say these things to impress someone?
Do you have kids?
No, I'm not married and I'm single. I don't have kids.
You were a kid once though, I assume?
Yeah.
You were probably a good kid though, like, most kids are, right? Did
Huh.
your parents know when you were lying or trying to deceive them? And could you tell, but they never said anything?
Yeah, I think they know every time and they do
They know
not say
every
a
time.
thing.
You
Yeah.
know, these
Yeah.
guys always tell me it's funny when you're an owner, I always you'll be funny how many times you notice I make analogies out of things, but, like, they're like, "Do you know," like, they'll try to tattletale, and I'm like, "When you're a parent, you know. You just know." And when somebody's doing something or being a certain way, it's like a kid. You know when they're lying, but not every battle's worth being fought, especially like once they're in the organization. Not every battle is worth being fought. Sometimes you got to let kids work their own stuff out and you got to continue to mentor them, but you don't need to pull them into the principal's office every single time. Like he did this, he did that. But back to the interview, you know, and that's one of the gifts you should have is like, you know, what are their eyes telling you? What's their body language telling you? Is this story seem fabricated? Is it jiving with the rest of their story and their lifestyle? It's like, you know, is it all coming together? And is there a sense of genuinism coming across the table? And all that stuff is like, you've just got to be in a place with discernment and ability to be able to read the room to understand that. And if they're not going to be honest about that stuff, you gotta know, is this a young guy just really trying to get to a next level? Because I've also said I knew a guy once, his name was Josh Gallo. I met him when he was like 18, 19. This kid was always talking about how he was so high level, but he was flipping pizzas, like, but everything he did, he was like, he was an investor in this, he had money shares in this. And eventually I was like, none of that's true. But I love that he was speaking about his life as if it was, not as if it is. But his heart and his intention was not bad in the sense of like he was a good Christian guy. He was such a loving, good guy. And so it's like, I never wanted to call him out once I understood, like, he's just trying to project what he wants as if he was actually living in it. And today, he's one of the most successful guys I know at his age. And so in some ways, it's like, what is the intention of the heart and the character, even if they are deceiving you a little bit? Because just like any guy, are they trying to impress you? Are they nervous? Is their heart good? Or are they just like way off key? And so you also have to say, is this a young kid that I see as a moldable heart that's just trying to say something? Can I guide him? Or is he just some guy that's going to come in and be a wreck? Right. So there are those factors that you want to take place. And for a company and a guy like me, I like bringing young guys in that I can shape. And so one of my top guys, Austin, he
Hmm.
came in at me 19 years old, just had a kid, had no idea what he was doing, lost his job at Amazon, had no money, you know, just a wreck. Wearing his shorts and his earrings every day. I let him slide for 4 months. I was like, I don't know if this kid's going to make it, but I have some passion for him. I sat him down. I said, you're going to put some pants on. You're going to take those earrings off and you're going to do this damn thing. Today, he thanks me every day for being closer to his daughter and being
Austin
a,
is actually a great friend of mine on Facebook.
yeah. Okay. Yeah. So Austin, yeah.
Yeah.
So dude thanks me every day for having the best relationship with his kid, owns a house, all his vehicles paid off. I mean, just the time it took. So when you see these young kids who may be, or even guys, it doesn't mean that you can't work with them to create them to be something successful. Now, if they, you got to have you got to know like what's the intention of their heart. And so anyway, that answers that. So just because they're deceiving you in that
Huh?
moment doesn't necessarily make them a bad fit. You have to look past even that into something deeper.